This is News with the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and please hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Here now is the news for Wednesday, October 8th of 2025. Magic Band Plus discounts ends for Walt Disney World hotel guests and annual pass holders. So, I don't know. I mean, it was a nice perk to get discounts on the Magic Band Plus bands. I don't know why they had to do away with that. That seems kind of ridiculous to me. Seems kind of outrageous, but I don't know. I don't buy a lot of Magic Band Pluses, unless there's one with a really cool design. Like, I had to buy the Phantasmic one. I had to buy the Cheshire Cat. I had to buy, the Disney Villains. I only have a couple of them, but, some of them have really cool designs. And, for them to, do away with this discount, I think it's a disservice to, us annual pass holders and the hotel guests. I don't know, but I mean, let me know how you feel about it. But I mean, that seems kind of silly. Of all the things to get rid of all the things to cut corners on, you're going to get rid of the annual pass holder discounts for Magic Band Plus. That just seems kind of silly to me. Seems kind of silly. So I don't know, but let me know how you feel in the comments. But this just seems kind of stupid and ridiculous and silly. And then speaking of price increases have been increased across the board at Walt Disney World. So park tickets, lightning lanes, drinks and food and merchandise and everything has been increased in price. And I know a lot of people are going to come in and they're going to be like, Walt Disney World, they're pricing me out and I can't, and I'm going to tell you what I said last time. And it's going to rub people the wrong way, but this is the truth. This is the truth. If you feel that Walt Disney World is pricing you out, then maybe you shouldn't be coming here in the first place. All right? That's my 2 cents on it. I know some people are going to be like, well, that's kind of harsh. But that's the truth. That is the truth, okay? Yeah, but people on the other side of the spectrum, they'll pay anything for Universal. So I don't know why Universal gets a pass and Disney doesn't, but but again, if this price increase is going to price you out, then maybe you shouldn't be coming here in the first place. And that's Walt Disney World, that's Universal, that's SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, whatever, okay? So, but, again, that's my 2 cents on the subject. They do this every year around this time. They do this every year so their last quarter can finish strong, all right? So, every year around this time, the prices go up, and then people get really, really, really mad and upset. So, it's not gonna change. It's, the same. My annual pass is gonna be going up, when I go to renew in May. So, it's, what people have to understand is, this is a business. This is a business, okay? I said this again in another video as well, that, the theme parks are a business. They have to make money. They have to pay their people. They have to pay, the electricity. They have to, pay, all this stuff that we, for some reason when we enter the theme park realm, we forget. We forget that they have to pay all this stuff. But, they have to make money to survive. Now, I'm also going to tell you that, do I think that they should charge 2 arms and 2 legs for everything? No, okay. But you also have to look at it from, instead of just getting on the bandwagon of, people getting mad and, well, I'm not going to Disney anymore. You have to look at it from, you can definitely be upset. You could definitely be upset that, they're raising prices on everything. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have to keep in mind that, they have to pay their people. They have to pay, they have to pay the electricity. They have to pay the water. They have to pay, all this stuff that goes into, running a business. So, we don't think of the theme parks as a business, but it's a business. It absolutely is a business. And they have to make money. Okay? So on one hand, I agree with people, that, get upset about the price hikes. But on the other hand, I understand because it's a business. It's a business. All businesses do it. Okay? Let me tell you something. Grocery stores right now, they raise their prices too. They raise their prices too. And much more, a lot more often than the theme parks do. But for some reason, people don't bat an eyelash with groceries. And let me tell you something. Groceries, a lot more expensive than the theme parks. Especially, these once-in-a-lifetime people that come once, maybe twice. But that's it. Okay? But they have to buy food every week. Okay? They have to buy food every week. So, when the grocery store prices, start climbing, people, they're like, there are people that, kind of are like, yeah, that seems kind of outrageous, but 90% of the people, I don't want to say they don't care, but they don't say anything. They don't bat an eyelash. They just pay it and go on. So, but, I don't know. I mean, again, let me know how you feel in the comments, but, if you're going to come in and you're going to be like, well, Disney's pricing me out and I can't go, you're going to get the same thing from me. You're going to get the same thing from me. And I'm going to say, maybe you shouldn't be coming here in the first place. So if you don't want that response, then have a real conversation. If you want to have a real conversation about the price increases and stuff, we can do that. But don't come in and be like, well, Disney is, pricing me out, blah, 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 and Disney's gone woke, and because I'm not answering you. I am not answering you. I will just totally ignore you. Alright, so, so I'm just warning you right now, we can have that conversation, but it has to be a genuine, sincere conversation. Otherwise, I'm not having one. Zootopia Better Zootopia cast member previews begin this month at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So, ahead of the DVC member previews and the annual pass holder previews for the show, Disney cast members will be able to go and see the new show before the annual pass previews. More on that in a sec. Actually, we'll just jump into that now. The annual pass holder previews have been announced now. They are Wednesday, November 5th and Thursday, November 6th. All right. The show officially opens on November 7th. I'm probably not going to go to the annual pass holder preview for it since I'm going on the 7th. Maybe if I'm off on either Wednesday or Thursday, I'll do it, but I don't really see a need to. I'm going Friday anyway, so that's when I'll, because I'll be able to film it then, because during a pass holder preview, obviously I can't film the show, it has to open first. So, but just be aware that there will be a virtual queue. Surprise, surprise. The virtual queue will be required. You can only enter the virtual queue once per day. So the virtual queue opens at 7 in the morning, and then it opens again at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I really something tells me that, when it opens on November 7th, they're going to have that virtual queue. I don't like that idea. I mean, I'm not going to go into that whole thing because I've done my virtual queue rant, a couple times, so I don't really feel the need to go into that. But Disney should come up with a better way. Come up with a better way other than that virtual queue system, because that thing is not fair. That is not fair. Okay. I hope that they don't have it for when the show opens. In the back of my mind, though, I kind of hate to think that it is going to be, but, so many people want to go see it's a rotating show, people. It's a rotating show that's 9 minutes, okay? There's, 2 or 3 minutes between shows. You can shuffle through that really, really quick. So why do you need a virtual queue? I have no idea. All right. With a ride, I understand because it's going to be, it would be chaos all day. But for a show that is, obviously a short show, it's only 9 minutes and it rotates. I don't see the need to have a virtual queue for that. Now, with the pass holder previews, I still don't like that idea, but I get it. You don't want to have all your pass holders cramming in, so I get it. But on November 7th, I really, really hope that they don't have that virtual queue. I really hope that they don't have it. They're probably going to, but man, I really hope that they don't. I really, really hope that they don't. Walt Disney World snack carts are going cashless. So all of the snack cart, food and beverage carts that you see in the park, those are all going cashless. So you will not be able to use cash anymore. You will only be able to use your debit or your credit card or a Disney gift card. And, it's going to make a lot of people unhappy. But, we're in the age now where cash is starting to become, it's starting to become extinct. Not a lot. There's still, obviously still a lot of people that use cash, but cash is starting to become extinct now. So, but just keep that in mind when you come to Walt Disney World now and you go to the snack carts, you will only have to use your debit or your credit card or a Disney gift card. And will this happen to everywhere at Walt Disney World? I don't know. Eventually it will. Eventually it will. As far as, immediately, probably not. I don't know. This is probably still going to be a testing thing. But, but there will be a time when you can't pay cash for anything at Walt Disney World. Okay? And probably the world for that matter. So, I don't know, but, I'm not a fortune teller. I can't see into the future, so, so please don't ask me. But, so, I'm just reporting on this news. So, but probably, whether that be 10, 20, 30 years from now, things are probably going to be, everything will be cashless, and it will be just card only, okay? But just keep that in mind if you are coming to visit Walt Disney World, that the snack carts, that sell the popcorn, the ice cream, and churros, and everything will be card only. When does this start? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to do more research on it. If anyone does have that information, though, please comment on this video. Please comment on this video, because everything that I have seen right now, there's no date. So, but if you happen to know the date, please let me know, because I would love to know that. And the more, if we have a date, it's much better to tell everyone than to just say it's coming soon. So, if you know that date, please let me know, and I'll post that as soon as I can. Officer Clawhauser audio animatronic has been revealed for Better Together at Disney's Animal Kingdom. He looks great. These figures now, they're all electric. They're not they're not hydraulic anymore. They don't have, they don't have fluid running in them anymore. They're all electric, so they have much more fluid movements, can be much more expressive. So he looks great. He looks absolutely great. Do I think the show is going to be good? I don't know. But at least if the show is garbage, at least you'll be able to see a good audio animatronic. So, that's something to keep in mind, I guess. Rock and Roller Coaster, starring the Muppets, will be open in the summer of next year. We don't have a closing date for Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. As soon as we know that, we'll let you know. But Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets will be opening sometime in the summer of next year. And this is one of those, Rock and Roller Coaster is unique in the fact, like Space Mountain, it's indoors, so it doesn't, and same with Tron. Tron's not really, you have that launch outside, but everything is pretty much inside, so you don't have to close the ride due to weather. So I think that's great. That's great, But again, we don't have a closing date, so when it does close, well, we'll definitely let you know. Now on to a story that I think is great. I think is fantastic. So Walt Disney World has made the announcement that Frozen will be going down for a refurbishment sometime in the not too distant future, and They also said that the projection face audio animatronics are going to be replaced. They will have physical faces. This is fantastic news. I love this. I love it. You know, these projection faces, they don't work. They don't work. They just don't do anything for me. They don't pull me they don't pull me into the story. You know, they did them once on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and someone was like, wow, those look really good. We can do that for all of these. And they don't work. They don't work because, you know, at least with Seven Dwarfs Mine... Now, will this happen everywhere? I don't know. Could, maybe, hopefully, I don't know, but, you know, but the projection faces with Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a lot more achievable than any other audio animatronic, because the Seven Dwarfs have beards. They have beards that hide the side of their face, so you can't see the side of their face. Not like, you know, Frozen Ever After, where you look at them and it's very clear that you're looking at a screen. It's very clear you're looking at a screen face, because it cuts off at the side, and it's like, well, that's not great. It doesn't look good, you know. So the illusion is ruined by it. So, and you know, so I am so happy that they decided to replace these, get rid of the projection screen faces, at least for Frozen Ever After, and put in physical faces. Will they do that everywhere? I don't know, but I really hope to God that they do, because those projection faces, they are just bad. And if one malfunctions, you're stuck looking at a black screen. You're looking at the character with no face, basically. So it's like, well, oh, that, you know, okay, that's very disconcerting. And then they have to close the ride, and then they have to fix the projector and everything. At least with the, you know, with the physical faces, if something breaks, it's probably, I mean, I'm no engineer, so I don't know. I can't tell you which is easier to fix, the screen-based audio animatronics or the physical face ones. I don't know, but man, you know, when Tiana's Bayou Adventure opened and they did the physical faces, I was like, thank you for not doing screen faces. And I was like, man, I really hope that continues. And it looks like it is. It looks like it is, because Frozen is getting that. Will Seven Dwarfs Mine Train get it? I don't know. Will Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway get it? I don't know. It might make the ride a little better if it doesn't have the screen faces, but I don't know. Okay? So I think that's great. That is fantastic news. I love it. So, more of this, please. More of this, please. I think Disney is now starting to realize their mistake. Is starting to realize their mistake of doing screen projected faces. So that it is nice that they're, you know, looking into ways to fix that. Again, will they fix it for all of them? For all the rides? I don't know. Only time will tell with that one. But Frozen, I think, will be the perfect training ground to, you know, because obviously they can do it. You know, they've been building the, you know, physical faces for eons, you know, decades. So they can do it. So I think that they're going to see how this works out. And if it does work out, hopefully they'll, you know, do it for most every other ride. Now let's go over to Disneyland real quick, because I want to talk about this. I don't usually comment on Disneyland, what happens at Disneyland, but this story, I just heard this story, and there's been a lot of, you know, gross comments online about it. So I'm going to weigh in on my 2 cents on this. But a guest has unfortunately they passed away from a guest has died from a heart attack after riding Disneyland's Haunted Mansion. So, look, anyone's death, whether it be, on the Haunted Mansion, on Stardust Racers, on whatever, people immediately come in and they're like, and then they start making light of it. And they're like, well, I guess the Haunted Mansion has 1,000 ghosts. And, the person that was on Stardust Racers, well, he had a medical condition, so he shouldn't have rode. And people don't have sympathy. Okay? Listen, the Haunted Mansion is one of the slowest dark rides, at these parks. Okay? It's in line with, Journey of the Little Mermaid, Small World. If you want to put Pirates in there, you can, even though it has a drop. But, most of all of these dark rides are slow-moving dark rides. Okay? And, unfortunately, a guest passed away. Was it from the ride? No. Because I can't imagine. I can't even imagine that it was something that had to do with the ride. We don't know. This is very early on. We don't know if it's a man, if it's a woman, if it was an older man, a younger man, if it was a older woman, a younger woman. We don't know. We have no idea. I think I did hear that this person was in their 50s, so not really old and not young either. Okay, kind of in that middle ground. But people were coming in and they were just making, all these jokes and, come on, people. Come on. I mean, are you serious? Are you kidding me? That is outrageous. That is outrageous behavior. How dare you? How dare you make light of a person that has just passed away? And you don't even know what their medical history is. And people just jump to the gun of, well, Haunted Mansion has their 1,000th ghost. Or, things of that nature. And that's disgusting. That is disgusting. And that is totally outrageous and uncalled for. How dare you? How dare you say that? That is ridiculous. That is absolutely asinine. All right. So for all these, if they're bloggers and vloggers that have been saying this, then shame on you. Shame on you. Now, if it's just normal guests, but again, I'm not giving you a pass either. The regular guest, I'm not giving you a pass either. A human being has died. A human being has died on this ride. Okay? That is not something to make light of. Okay? It's the same thing with Stardust Racers. Okay? It's the same exact thing. Now, the only difference is Stardust Racers, it's a roller coaster. Haunted Mansion isn't. But a person has died. A person has died. Okay? They have left this earth. And for people to make their asinine comments about this, I think is disgusting. It is disgusting, and they should be disgraced. They should be disgraceful. They should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves for saying this, for saying all this stuff. All right? So, we're going to have to, find out more about this. I'm sure we're going to find out more, as the coming weeks, It takes a long time. It takes quite a bit to get the reports out and everything. So, again, this is very, very early. very early. We don't know this person's medical history. We don't know. We just, there's so much we do not know. But for people to come in and say these asinine comments is outrageous. Is totally outrageous. And they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. Okay? If that had happened to you, and someone said that about you, how would, I wouldn't want someone to say that about me. I mean, if I died going on the Haunted Mansion, at least I went out doing what I, love to do. I love to go, to the theme parks. So if I happen to die, at a theme park where it wasn't, like something like really, like if I didn't fall or something, but if I just had like a heart attack or whatever, then at least I went out doing what I love to do. Okay? So, and I'm sure that this person was the same. Okay? We don't pick our own death time. We don't. Okay? That's up to the man upstairs. Okay? That's up to God. All right? I could be sitting here now and he could take me and that would be it. Okay? So, when it's your time, it is your time. Okay? But, again, we're just going to have to wait and see, get more details on this. But I think that this community of people should be ashamed of themselves. They really, really should be ashamed of themselves for saying, for making light out of this situation. Because it's not funny. It is not funny. I am not laughing. It's disgusting and it's disgraceful and it's shame on you and how dare you? How dare you call yourself a Disney enthusiast or a theme park enthusiast if you're going to make those comments? Alright, now I'm going to shift gears. That's enough ranting. That's enough ranting. Let me know how you feel in the comments, but just let me know. Just let me know. But now for, for the next story. So, I have been to Epic Universe now 3 times. I put out my first honest review. I was going to do a second honest review after my second trip. It was a disaster. My second trip to Universal was a disaster. Okay? So I felt like I can't do an honest review of this because it's just, it was not good. It was a disaster. So now that I've been a third time, I can fully, there's still a couple things that I want to do. I haven't been on Monsters Unchained. I haven't done the Ministry of Magic. So there's a couple things that I still want to do. But overall, I think I can give you a very full, honest review now of this park. I was going to do it yesterday. That didn't happen. I was going to do it today. That didn't happen. So, but just look for that in the future. Look for that in the future. In a future video. I will be doing my second honest review of my third trip to Universal. Alright. And then lastly, I did change my handle on YouTube. So my old handle used to be at the Disney Dude 1988. I have now changed my handle. So now it is News with the Disney Dude. Alright, so you'll still see my name. My name is, you'll still see my name, but my handle is News with the Disney Dude. So when you see that come up, don't be alarmed. I just changed my handle. I just changed the name of it. So, but there you are. There's your news. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me ranting and raving. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel for more content. Hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. You guys have a great rest of your day. Will I be here on Friday? Yes, I will be here on Friday. So I will see you all on Friday for the last news day of the week. I'm probably going to have to do my honest review for you on Saturday. Okay, I usually don't, you know, do any vlogging and stuff on Saturdays, but with it, with it being late, I'll probably just do that. So, if nothing goes wrong, look for it on Saturday, alright? But I thank you guys very much for watching. You guys have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. You guys keep each other safe. You folks keep each other safe and healthy. And remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.